Okay, so what a huge day for this White House. You know, number one, we saw the full vote, his huge COVID relief bill passing. He's going to be signing that on Friday. He mentioned that primetime address that he'll be having tomorrow night, saying patriotism and public health come first. And listen, he knows that this White House and his legacy really and his success hinges upon beating this virus and having a successful, healthy U.S. economy. So let's talk about everything we just heard, starting with Dr. Michelle McMurry-Heath, because Doc, we were talking earlier about the vaccine supply, which you know so much about, right? And he's saying, we've heard him say this, that we should have enough vaccine supply to have every American vaccinated by the end of May. Then he's, ordering up these extra 100 million doses of Johnson & Johnson. And then if they have extra, you just heard him say, that we're going to take care of us and that we're going to help, share the wealth and pass around these vaccines if there's a surplus to the rest of the world. How do we get these vaccines in arms?
Well, the COVID relief bill that passed both houses earlier today is a huge step in the right direction, and this is a banner day. Let's just soak this in for a minute. Two of our top member companies are there at the White House holding hands with the administration, figuring out how to partner together, and that's what we've seen throughout this COVID response. Our companies are working together to try to find ways to expedite getting solutions to patients. But the COVID relief bill is going to have a huge impact. Not only does it have things that we fought very hard for, including making sure that people in Medicaid and S-CHIP, the Children's Health Insurance Program, have free or no cost access to not just COVID vaccines, but also COVID therapeutics, the drugs that might help them if they actually happen to get sick. But then we also see, billions of dollars put towards testing and tracing, almost $50 billion in this bill for that effort, and lots of additional funding for the CDC as well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which will allow them to go out and set up more COVID vaccination sites. So all of this is steps in the right direction to get more shots in arms.
Dana Bash, big day for President Joe Biden.
No question. If he were designing a day in his presidency when he were running for president, this would be kind of the ultimate in terms of the top goal that he promised that he would achieve, which is to end the pandemic and all of the things that are hurting society when it comes to health, when it comes to economic hardship, and so education and everything that goes with it. He would create today. Maybe he wouldn't even be able to dream about today because of the combination of things that have happened just in the span of hours. Obviously, the big bill that the doctor was just talking about, but also what we just saw was, look, it was the kind of leadership that he promised to have. This is what presidents do in wartime, and they get and they harness the power of the private government. The private sector to work with government, and they convince competitors to work together for the public good. That's what we just saw here at the White House.
He talked, Laura, about the primetime address, and he'll talk about what comes next. And we know, according to Phil, our correspondent at the White House, that they plan to, he and members of the administration plan to go out into the country, really sell this COVID relief bill, this plan, this cash injection, the stimulus payments. What do you know about what they plan to do the next phase of this?
So we know that the president himself, First Lady Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, as well as other members of the cabinet are going to go out across the country and really explain, as Biden said, the next phase is explaining this bill and everything that's in it, from the stimulus checks to the vaccine distribution to other aspects that shore up the economy, what it does, and make sure that the public understands that. Because one thing this administration is learning from the last time Biden was a part of a White House team when Obama was in office was that when the 2009 stimulus package was passed, the Obama administration has now since said that they didn't do as good of a job in terms of explaining what was in that bill to the public. And so you're hearing the President Biden say today that he's going to make sure that all aspects of this bill and how it impacts everyone's life that the public is aware of it and that they know exactly what it does.
You know, we were having this conversation earlier, and Dana, this is back to you on just the enormous popularity of this COVID relief bill among Americans across the country and how not a single Republican voted for it. Not only that, you have Liz Cheney, Republican, who went to say that this COVID relief bill was a tragedy. A tragedy?
Look, I mean, if you are a conservative like Liz Cheney and others who, you know, have gotten in the, you know, on the wrong side of the Trump base, something that is as bread and butter as economic, the economic issues that they claim are wrong-headed with this bill, first and foremost, just the big cost of it. Then you're going to take every opportunity to say so. And that's what we heard from Liz Cheney. And that's what we heard from other Republicans, including and especially those who, you know, are in trouble with their state parties back home and with the base back home and others, that this is something that they are going to use to talk about maybe fiscal responsibility. Having said that, you know, Nancy Pelosi said a version of this earlier today, and I remember Laura's talking about the stimulus, how many times Republicans were out in their districts, even though they trashed the stimulus, and sometimes they won their seats or did well based on the fact that they were critical of it, but then touting the benefits that came from it in their districts. And it's very likely that we're going to see similar dynamics this time.
All right. I'm going to thank all of you ladies very much. We've got to go to Washington now.